Welcome to the Holistic Growth Podcast, navigating business and natural health and functional medicine, where we bring you insights and strategies to help grow your practice and amplify your impact. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Holistic Business Podcast, hosted and sponsored by GetHealthy Stores. I'm Dr. Tracey Stroup. I'm your Chief Health and Growth Officer right here at GetHealthy Store. I'm also your host of this podcast, and with me today is Dan Lievens. He is the CEO and founder of Share.One, and it's an incredible video and testimonial-based platform that is revolutionizing our industry in functional health. So, Dan, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here today.
Tracey, what a pleasure to have this conversation with you. Really look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was explaining to you prior to the podcast about our practitioner base, and, we're natural healthcare professionals, functional and integrative healthcare professionals. We're not real tech savvy, but I believe we are going to have to get there quickly to stand out in the market. And your company is really helping us do that. So can you give me a little background on yourself and maybe tell us a little bit about your company?
Absolutely. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. This is my 12th business. And I started off as a consultant supporting other startup businesses getting off the ground. So I opened one of the first co-working facilities in Philadelphia many, many years ago. And that quickly became into an incubator, an accelerator for businesses and helping people go from, 0 to 10, essentially. And what I noticed in that experience was the importance of being able to communicate your value proposition. And most people don't succeed, not because their product or service isn't good, but it's their inability to communicate the value proposition. That's how I got into marketing. And prior to the pandemic, we had a full-blown video studio doing online courses and VSLs and webinars and all sorts of fun stuff, live audiences and stages. And naturally, we had to shut that down. And there is a blessing in all of that. We got into remote capture. So similar to what we're doing today, Zoom, Riverside, plenty of platforms out there. And then the next kind of aha moment for us was, hey, instead of having people spend a lot of money on video production and multiple cameras and lights and all that, the average person in America now is very accustomed to seeing what you're seeing here, right? So the at-home interviews and whatnot. So we said, hey, what's the biggest needle mover that we can provide these people that are out to make the world healthier, right? That are out to make a difference in the world. And at the end of the day, the one thing that truly, truly, truly helps is being able to capture social proof. And not just the written review or things that you see on Amazon and star reviews, but it's true human transformation, especially when it comes to functional and integrative health, where the non-standardized kind of care requires some kind of education. People have been suffering for many, many years. And how do we get people to actually say yes, right, to these alternatives? And the most powerful way we feel is by being able to capture stories of individuals who have suffered for years and years and years and happened on this new treatment or happened on this new doctor or these new supplement lines, and now they feel better. Yeah. So Share.One was born about 2.5 years ago. With that intention in mind, really being able to spread positivity in the world, spread positive results out in the world in an authentic, genuine, and believable way. And that's essentially what the company stands for today, is ultimately being able to help people capture those stories.
Yeah, authenticity, right? I think most of the educated clients that I deal with can spot a fake. And they know if you're not authentic. So you said social proof. Can you explain that concept to me? And what does that mean?
Social proof, I think at the end of the day, we can geek out on human behavior and all that. Humans want to feel safe. They're not risk takers typically, right? So if a human being is out in the market and they're evaluating something or to do something, their nature is to be protected and stay at home and don't do anything. However, if they can see a friend or a neighbor or somebody they can relate to that have gone through that same experience and taken a supplement or gone through that process and had positive results, in other words, social proof, then it decreases their mental thinking of, I'm taking a risk by doing this, right? So it alleviates that objection and makes them feel more comfortable. They can see themselves in that person that they're watching in terms of, oh, that's me. I've been suffering with headaches for 5 years. Maybe I should give this a try, right? So that's really the power of social proof.
Okay, I understand. So you're really finding alignment, with these testimonials. So tell me exactly what it is you do. You record video with the practitioner's patients, clients. What does that look like? And where does that content then live?
Absolutely. So the first step for our company is we do an onboarding call with the practitioners. The majority of our clients are in health and wellness, so we really kind of know what we're doing. But we do take a deeper dive into the business to understand, hey, what are the typical objections for people that are thinking about working with you? What's going on in their minds? What are they suffering with? And what would be the perfect ideal sound bites that they can hear to get them to book that call or to click the buy button? Once we understand what those sound bites are that we're collecting, we kind of reverse engineer the interview. So what questions are we going to ask to be able to get those sound bites? So we train all of our producers on the outcomes for your business and basically what questions to ask and what sound bites we're looking for. And we'll help you craft a invitation process. I think a lot of people are saying, I don't think my patients would be open to being recorded on video. I don't want to bother them with leaving us a review or things like that. We currently have a 47% success rate in getting your clients to say yes, to show up to a video interview. And that's something that, whether you use us or do it yourself or you have a team, it's all in the invitation process. At the end of the day, human beings, if they can positively impact somebody else, then they're a yes, right? So the invitation, we always use the win-win-win. So what's the win for you? What's the win for your existing patient? And what's the win for the viewer? And the critical component here is what's the win for your clients? So let me give you an example. Instead of saying, dear Mary, would you please leave us a testimonial, or would you please leave us a video testimonial? More likely than not, the answer is going to be no. But if you frame something like, dear Mary, we have a few people in our community that have been suffering from Hashimoto's for 10 years, and they've tried everything, and they're suffering, they can't play with their kids, or whatever those things are. If they could hear your story firsthand, you could personally impact their lives too. Would you be open to meeting with one of our producers so that we can capture your story and spread health and well-being to the rest of the world? Something along those lines, right?
That sounds more mission driven, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Make it super easy. Just click on this link to book your 15-minute call, making it super, super easy. Yeah. So once we have the patient, the client on the call, we guide them through some really basic things like opening up a window for some more lights, maybe some decluttering in the background, keeping it really authentic, right? And we coach them. We say, hey, what's your name, for example? How were you feeling before? How did you hear about this program? How do you feel today? Who would you recommend it to? And really helping them through answering these questions and coaching them so they're not rambling on and on for 7 minutes about something that's unusable. So our producers conduct those interviews with the end in mind. So they're already kind of editing in their heads. We're looking for 60 seconds, maybe 3 minutes tops if the content is good, of beautiful sound bites that we can then edit down, and we add subtitles and we add some music, and we deliver that back to our clients. We currently have some really cool technology to where you don't necessarily have to get your web developer or anybody involved in your team. There's one little line of code that we help you install on your website. Or if you're using the GetHealthy store, it's already built into the store. There's a beautiful little mobile-friendly floating widget that sits on the bottom of your page. As soon as somebody clicks on it, your video testimonials will start playing. They can scroll through all of that. Wow. So it's super easy to use.
So how many testimonials would you recommend that would be in that video series?
We typically say four to six, give people some idea of volume. And also, depending on how many programs or how many supplements you have, the more specific you can be about your testimonials, the better, right? So for example, I'm wearing a black t-shirt, right? So if I was in the market for a black t-shirt that's V-neck with a red button, and I see a testimonial about clothing in general, okay, I may be convinced. But if I see a testimonial on a black t-shirt with a red button, I am fully, fully convinced. So we work with you in terms of understanding what's the complete customer engagement flow. Where are people making a buy decision or a book now decision? And how can we tailor that testimonial to get them to take that next little step in action? And the other thing too is being able to identify your ideal customer profile, right? So who are you targeting? And so if you are going after women in their 50s and beyond, we don't want to interview some guy that's in their 20s, right? Being able to make people feel like, oh, I can see myself in this person, gives that sense of relatability and say, you know what, that can be me. Yes, I'm going to take action.
Yeah, that kind of is relatable. As a woman, I'm 50 and a 20-year-old influencer in fitness telling me what to do. I'm like, just wait 30 years and come back.
That's right.
Then you can talk to me about my fitness level. And it's so relatable. So for practitioners, what have you seen? What's the ROI compared to, you see testimonials all the time. People get them all the time. Like, hey, leave a testimonial. Tell me what you think. Leave a review. And I know those are different, but what is your return on investment for a practitioner that uses your video content versus just posting a testimonial from somebody who really enjoyed their services?
The testimonials that we provide has a potential of increasing your conversions up to 62%. So whether that's through an email campaign, through your website, through your Book Now page, having video testimonials on that page will increase your conversions up to 62%. That's a game changer. That's an absolute game changer.
That's totally a game changer. So when you say these video testimonials, where do they live? Where do you house them? And how do practitioners have access to them to put them in different touch points to their market?
Once you are a client of Share.One, we provide you a full portal. So all the interviews that we conduct, you own the video. So you own the MP4. You can download it. You can give it to your team to cut up. You can upload it to your website. We provide some cool little features to where you say, hey, I really like this testimonial. I want to try and run it as an Instagram reel. So you click a button on our portal and we'll re-edit that to a 9:16, move the subtitles, potentially under 60 seconds. And there you go. You can download it and use it on your social media platforms. As I mentioned, we have some different technology where we can automatically push those videos to either a wall of love or through the widgets. We've also found some great results by reducing the anxiety level. And there's a lot of research around this when they're studying heat maps of websites. Where are people most hesitant? And that's right where the book now or buy now button is. So we developed this cool little player that can sit right underneath or right above the buy now button, where they can literally scroll through all the videos of people giving you affirmation that you're making the right choice.
That's awesome. Do you ever take already created content for practitioners and redo it for them, or is that not a service that you provide?
We currently don't, because we certify every single one of our videos as authentic transformations of human beings. We ask for consent during the interviews and we record that and we keep that recording. And all of our interview directors are very, very well trained on FTC, FDA, DSHEA, and claim language. So when we put our stamp on it, we can certify that this is a true human representation of a transformation, and we certify that it's going to be legal for you to make those claims. So for example, if somebody came on and said, oh my God, seeing her cured my cancer, we're going to say, hey, please rephrase that they supported your cancer journey, things like that. So currently we only post our own video testimonials on our services. And we've also found, initially we started like taking some of the footage and people will send us these like 35-minute Zoom conversations, and they're just honestly unusable, right? Because when we conduct the interviews, we try and keep them really, really succinct, and we get those beautiful golden sound bites. Nobody has 35 minutes to listen to a testimonial.
This episode is brought to you by MyosMD. What if there was a natural way to reduce the muscle loss we all experience with age? Let me introduce you to Myos MD. Myos MD is a powerfully unique supplement designed to reduce muscle loss, whether it's through aging, injury, illness, or weight loss. The secret? Fortitropin, an all-natural bioactive compound developed by top scientists and researched at some of the world's finest institutions. Here's how it works. Fortitropin has been clinically shown to lower myostatin, increase muscle protein synthesis, and reduce anabolic resistance. In fact, in a double-blind, placebo-controlled study at the University of California, Berkeley, men and women aged 60 to 75 saw an impressive 18% increase in muscle protein synthesis with Fortitropin compared to a placebo. And subjects saw these results with no additional exercise. This isn't just a supplement, it's science in action, helping your patients build muscle, recover faster, and live powerfully. To learn more about the research and benefits of Myos MD, visit myosmd.com today.
You're basically preaching to the choir. I mean, I say to practitioners all the time, we're not great business people out of the gate and we're terrible marketers. And there's a lot to learn. And so we don't have to do that as practitioners. We can rely on other people who do it really well. My experience with your company, because I did do a video testimonial basically for GetHealthy. We did one as it was a courtesy and we're just using it in our promotions. It was awesome. Your staff is very concise. And I had to laugh because they had John on, our CEO. And John, he's a storyteller. So he'll just talk. And I think it was one of your producers was like, that was great. Can you cut that down to 3? It's so funny because John was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Telling the whole story. And she's like, that's great. We need 3 minutes. So,
Exactly.
so they do keep you on task. And they ask really great questions too. So it really does pull out of you all the important information that you want to relay. So I think your team's fabulous.
And we want the practitioners to do what they do best, right? Mm-hmm. And all of our interview directors literally are video producers. So what they're doing is they have the end in sight already. They already know what the testimonial is going to look like and what's going to sound like. So we give our interviews like little cues that will say, hey, if I go like this, I'm basically closing my hands right on camera. That means please wrap up your thoughts, right? So they're not rambling. So we're very, very concise at looking for those sound bites so that we can capture people's attention spans and give them exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I love that you use compliant language. In the sea of videos and reels and TikTok, that art has been lost. There are a lot of claims being made. There's a lot of confusion out there. I also think people don't double check AI, and that's a big problem because they just rely on it. And especially if they're new to marketing or content marketing, they'll use those systems and they're not always correct. So can you give me a little comparison about how your company is in comparison to other companies that do what you do or similar to what you do? And then give me your thoughts on AI and what's happening with video content in that area.
Absolutely. So to our knowledge, that we have one competitor that does something similar to what we do in terms of being able to remotely interview your patients, your clients with a real human being. And they charge upwards of $5,000 per video.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Talk about that. Skipping forward. Go ahead.
Skipping forward. Yeah, absolutely. And we specialize in health and wellness. And again, as you said, being able to be smart about the claim language. And that's super, super, super dangerous. You can get your ads account completely shut down. You can get, if you get on the list with the FTC or the FDA, that's not a good place to be. So definitely use experts in the field. And, with a real human being, you don't have to worry about AI, but certainly, AI is a huge player in everything that we do. Again, the FTC currently has a $27,000 minimum fine for people that use untrue testimonials, whether it's video testimonials or reviews. Now, videos aren't quite there yet, but it's a matter of months before somebody can generate a video testimonial that looks like a real human being. But the FTC that's one of their biggest things that they're working on right now is consumer protection. How do we protect our consumers from fake reviews and fake testimonials? Amazon today has 12,000 full-time employees, and their only job is to track down fake reviews. That's how bad it's become.
Wow. And you mentioned the DSHEA Act, the FTC, the FDA. Can you just high level go over those? I mean, the DSHEA Act is, I assume you're talking about the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, right? That's one that regulates dietary supplements, claims, et cetera. But can you go through just what those are? Because I don't think our practitioners really realize how dangerous it can be when companies that you're using allow for claims to be put out on the internet. And it doesn't come back on those companies. It comes back on the practitioner. I mean, they can get fined, they can get jail time. I mean, it's no small thing.
So I interviewed a lawyer not too long ago on these topics of what can be said and what can't be said. Overall, when we're dealing with supplements, there is a disclaimer at the very end that basically says, the standard legalese language. I think the biggest thing, especially when it comes to social media, is claims. So being able to stay away from any kind of claims language, right? So as the example I gave earlier is, it supported my journey, right? It supported my XYZ. That's a critical part. And you will get shut down if you start having people. So even if it's not you saying it, and you have a video of somebody on your website that says, this, cured my XYZ, the fact that it's on your website means that it's your responsibility and that will come after you.
I have a friend who owns a brand, and during the pandemic, a pastor got up and talked about their product and how he said it cured his COVID, and the FDA shut down the brand, the entire brand.
Wow.
Shut down. And it was a huge brand. So it happens that people go out and do make claims. And I think at that time, there was a little bit more of regulations being pushed. Now, I think it's the pendulum swung, and people are out on the internet making all kinds of claims about how this one thing will cure this or do that. And even that is really important. You don't even have to say the word cure, treat, or diagnose. It's just making claims about a product that has no studies to verify it. And we have to be careful as healthcare professionals, not only because it's misleading and unethical, but also because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
People come out and say this, there's no telling what will happen. I appreciate that you do that, because there's just so much information. And as a practitioner, I really feel that people are being misled by big influencers that are making claims and doing all these things. And people walk into my office with bags of supplements. And so it's also impactful on, their outcome and success. And what it does is eventually our industry gets the hit on it because people think what we do doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as we kind of wrap up, is there anything you want to relay to the industry of what you're seeing with what you've created? I know we talked about AI. We didn't really get into that too deep. So give me a little bit more on the AI and what you think are the good points with it, how a practitioner should use it, and then what do you think the dangers are of it?
AI is a amazing tool, and we use it internally as well for a lot of our marketing efforts and whatnot. There's a place for everything. There's an absolute place for everything. And I think we just need to be careful and treat it as a tool, not a solution. When it comes to testimonials and reviews, honestly, you cannot use AI to help you generate any of those things, because that's illegal, and the FTC will come after you. And there are ways for people to detect that, especially our younger generation. So I have a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. Their AI detection mechanism is a lot higher than mine, and we use it in our technology every day. they can see through it. And guess what? So can your folks as well. So that's I would stay away from using AI when it comes to generating testimonials and reviews. I think it's super powerful to use in your marketing. So we actually encourage some of our clients to use AI. For example, if you were to take every single transcript of all the testimonials that you've ever collected and you dropped it into a custom GPT that you've created for your practice, what it can do is use the language of your clients to be able to create email campaigns and copy for your website. And that's super powerful because as practitioners, we know what our audience needs. We believe they need X, Y, and Z, but we may not be speaking the language of what they're experiencing. So being able to hear firsthand saying, wow, my clients refer to me as X. My clients refer to my solutions as X. My clients refer to their pain initially as this, not what I'm calling it. Then you basically use that language, you turn it around and you use it in your webinars and you use it in your landing pages. And now all of a sudden, the average audience or the prospects that you're going after will be able to relate to you because that's the language that's in their heads.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I agree. And I use ChatGPT and some other OpenAI channels, and I even created my own, and I love it for what it does, but I never use it for graphics because it can't spell. And I'd never use it for video unless I'm cutting video that I did. But I love your service. And the one thing you said about increasing conversion, 62%, that's unbelievable. That statistic right there alone. So how do our practitioners connect with you, and what does that first experience look like for them?
Absolutely. So if you're listening to this podcast, I would have a gift for you. The link is going to be in the show notes. You get to try our service for absolutely free. So no credit card required, nothing. We just want to get the first video in your hands. So we'll interview one of your patients or one of your clients and deliver that video back to you in hopes that you are going to like it, in hopes that you can see its benefit and will continue working with us.
It's beautiful. And we've had a couple practitioners that actually use your service. They love it. They have noticed a big improvement and more revenue coming through their store already. And it's only been implemented a couple of months. As I said, I went through the experience and it is so easy. Your producers are wonderful. They're great interviewers. So if you're not good on camera or you don't think that, you could do this, you absolutely can. The way your team works with everybody is great. Because I think that's probably a hesitation. People are like, I'm not really good on camera. I don't know what to say. But you guys do such a great job just pulling that natural, content out of people. So very good.
And I want to add one quick thing. I think a lot of people that we speak to, especially in the health and wellness space, is their first reaction, especially as a healer, is I don't want to disturb my clients. I don't think they're going to want to do it. I can't subject so-and-so to do a video for me, right? The feedback that we're getting from all of the individuals that we've interviewed, and we've done thousands and thousands of videos, is wow, somebody's listening to me. I'm being heard. My story can actually impact somebody. And that's healing in itself, right? So if you have any hesitation, I would kind of put that aside a little bit, give us a shot, and then speak to the people that we've interviewed, and they will probably like you even more, and they may even come back because now they're ambassadors of you, right? So it's great for your own attrition as well.
Absolutely. And I love that. The me stories are so powerful. And, we've just come to this point where people just want to get back to authenticity. So thank you for doing what you do in the industry and helping us, the healthcare professionals, stay relevant and stay true to what we really want to do, which is help people. So everything that Dan had talked about today, all the links are going to be in the show notes. Please share this with a healthcare professional and see if the content would be relevant to their practice and their scale. Dan, thanks again for being here. We really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope we get a lot of captures with your new and exciting technology that we're offering.
Tracey, thank you so much for a beautiful conversation. We look forward to supporting your entire ecosystem.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.